Oh, we're going live now.
I don't have much data. That's what I'm asking you.
I've heard nothing about DDP containers being sent back, or any containers sent back. I have heard a lot of people getting dinged for falsifying their commercial invoice.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
I usually and
Okay, we have an issue with the camera, which kind of sucks.
I use DDP and I don't worry about it. Like I'm not asking for live.
All right.
I'm not asking for any concession. I'm just saying, hey, company, send this spot for me.
Right.
So, but I pass it on to them and they give me a price and I'm cleaning my hands.
Yeah, if you can, put the mic closer to you too, since it's a full house. I hope this camera lasts through today. We have a new camera that we're installing for the next event. This has been a workhorse that's been going on since 2018. That's crazy. Yeah, 2018, and this thing sits on 24/7. Like rarely does it ever cut off.
Oh, wow.
This thing is a workhorse.
So you leave the power on 24/7.
You don't need to, but we forget to turn it off. So like, this thing has been used, abused, but we have a new one. And we'll be installing it this week so that we're able to use it for next weekend, because there's been some issues with the camera just cutting off. What's up, Steve? Yeah, bro, your packaging looks phenomenal, bro. A+. Yeah, that's, I can't, you're gonna see after all the talk we've all been doing about how important that is. You're not priced into the, you're not trying to create the luxury brand of salt. Like you're not doing anything extreme. You're within the right price point. It's a great offer as far as quantity. There's no massive brand loyalty issues you need to deal with. Like that's a win. Somebody searches your keywords, that thing comes up. I think they're hard pressed not to look at that product and consider it. So like really, really, really good.
We are doing a larger fill, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So we're reading the people that are.
Yeah, you're better per ounce. You're like you hit it all. Like you have one thing that can go, two things that can go against you. One is you got to this point and you ran out of capital, and now you need to that's an issue. So if you haven't got there, you're good. And then the other one is your product sucks. Like. Right. If the product itself, if the Hialeah sea salt that you have is, making people have allergic reactions, if it tastes like who done it and why, if any of that stuff happens, you're still going to sell out of your inventory, but you're going to notice your quality of reviews go down and down and down and down, and it'll just be a bit of a pain in the butt. But you'd still sell out of your. I think you're good. Yeah, I'd call it a win. I'm going to call it a win early.
So yeah, we can come back and forth with different samples and tweaks to it. Could we have gone farther with it? Absolutely, but.
Here's the scare. Like for you, you're probably thinking the scary thing is right now. Like your next thing is you want to see it selling, so you can. I get it. For me, it's going to sell. Here's a scarier one to think about. When are you reordering? Like, what does that look like? Are you going to add another line? Because there's a whole lot of different profiles you can add, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, bro. 100%. And there's different flavor profiles that you totally easy low-hanging fruit that you can do. Should be much easier to do. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, but you'd give some thought to that now and start pricing out what that would look like. Pay attention to units per purchase. Like, so people buying 2, 3 at a time, consider bigger bags or bundles, you know, for like 3 packs and 2 packs. The other thing, I think it was last week. Was it last week when I did the thing on the influencers? Was it last week that I did the presentation on the influencers? The 5, and I delivered 10. I created that presentation. I've gotten more feedback on that presentation than I think any presentation I've done since I've been doing the meetups. And it felt good because it felt good because some of the presentations I just rely on, like what I try to do is I try to say, okay, what would help? There's so-and-so in the group is dealing with X. I know everyone can kind of value from this. Like, what could I add? Like, maybe Candace is adding a new line. I know that line's gonna have X challenge. Oh, this would be a cool topic that would benefit, say, I know somebody in the group named Candace. And I also know everyone else in the group will do it, so I'll get that one thing and kind of explode it out to where it's generally valuable for everyone. So, last one, other ones, I spend months like really picking away at until it gets right. And then when I'm like, this is ready, and I go present it. Sometimes I spend months doing it and I present it and everyone's just kind of like, oh, another meetup. And that kind of sucks because it's like, man, you know, this didn't hit the way I wanted. Like, maybe I should have just gone the other way. This was one of those ones that I put a lot into last week. And I got more feedback, like positive feedback on that one than anything. But I actually was inspired to create that because of somebody in the group who's launching, who launched, let's call it a luxury, you know, a luxury tiered product. And it had to do with what I'm calling spokes on the wheel. That Amazon PPC is just one of the spokes on that wheel of what you launch. The next popular one that everyone talks about is TikTok. I talk a lot about email newsletters, but there's Meta, there's Google Ads, or you could just put all the spokes in and just call it ads, paid ads, SEO, but you can break it up however you want. But in reality, the days of just Amazon PPC launches, I'm not this doomsday person. I don't ever what is it? I'm not a Sith. I don't deal in absolutes. I've been beating the drum on Amazon for a long time. Those days, if they're not gone, they are rapidly fading. And my goal here is not to say, let's talk about nothing but, let's pretend this is still 2023, and keep talking, you know, just Amazon PPC. Nowadays, having a product and launching it and just turning on Amazon PPC is asking for a lot of problems, especially around your profit margin. So I created that presentation because, and I dialed it in to where it would be most applicable to beginners. Because telling everybody, hey, you should hire 60 people from YFD at $250 a month, that's not what most people's budget is when they start. So I created this. This is something that anyone could do for next to no budget, and in most cases, just the cost of your product. Yeah, I got a ton of feedback on that, and I'm saying it again now. If you didn't really pay attention to it, or you didn't get a chance to listen to it, Chris, you don't have to go back and listen to the 2.5 hours of it, but go open Gemini on that video. The transcript's fully available, and then just have a conversation with Gemini on that video and say, give me the 10 things that Carlos said. Pick 2 and just do them. Don't, even though this product, you know, we chose this product together, right? We worked together in choosing this product, and it was intentionally chosen because I feel like it's low-hanging fruit. Like, we didn't go out and try to find a fat burner. You know, we found something that should be on the easier side. Don't get comfortable. Like, pick 1 or 2 of those and treat it like, man, if I don't get these right, the product is doomed. You know, you still got to have that what is it, Bezos day one mentality on this. Get those influencer things, like, don't get comfortable and be like, we did it, it's here. Just hand it to Carlos. It doesn't absolve you from being a business owner, an operator in your business. You still need to be thinking about ways to grow, all right? You're with me? Okay. Yeah, and I know Ting's gonna listen to this later, so she'll probably repeat it to you. Hey Ting, we hear you're faking food poisoning and not coming. Candace, what's up? What's new? When's the launch of the new product? Steve, what's new in your world? Let's see who else is here. What else? What about, you got the mic there, talk about OpenClaw. What do you sent it to me, but I was expecting you to send me 2 lines on what you were doing, and instead you sent me something that looked like programming. Really quick though, before you say what you've been working on OpenClaw very heavy, with a heavy skew towards e-commerce, or like just straight up on e-commerce.
Right.
Unlike a lot of people on YouTube that are doing it for a whole bunch of different businesses, or for personal, or whatever, for real estate, you're doing it for e-commerce.
We got YouTube tools that are just thinking open cloud to like the requirements for
Yes.
anything to do with anything that allows.
Right. So could you, because we've talked about it a few times, but could you, like, in 2 minutes again, or 3 minutes, talk about what OpenClaw is, how it got your attention, and then what you worked on this week with OpenClaw?
So open cloud basically a system that is solving like really not ignoring people, because it's basically not open access to everything that you can do. Think of it as a system that is anything everything that you can try and do it and switch out. Open your browser, parsing through data, sending emails, creating marketing plans, setting up your Klaviyo flows, etc., etc. Everything is natively. Why? Because it connects on the back end to local large language models. So you connect to Claude, to OpenAI, to anything, and then it's the smartest digital assistant you will have. Why is it good? Well, because OpenClaw specifically has mental memory. It remembers everything about you, from the beginning to the end. It knows how you like to talk, what you prefer, what your decisions were, when to do what, schedule time. What you eat, so that you wake up in the morning, you are there ready to go. And it even really powerful system. Why? As long as you know how to prompt, as long as you know how to convey intent into the prompt, then it'll always get everything right the way that you want. So, do I use that instead?
Either one's fine. You could use the other one's even better.
So what have I been doing with it? Well, basically, I have a two-tier approach to how I view the use of OpenClaw. It's doing 2 things. Number 1, lowering my OPEX as much as possible. Number 2, increasing my branded search as much as possible. Those 2 things equally at the same time. Lowering my OPEX, what does that mean? Well, how many softwares do I use right now? How many things do I have connected to my business that you know, shave away at the profit that I take at the end of the month? Well, is it a really complicated software to easily redo with this, with a large language model? Then if it's a really complicated software, don't touch it. But if it's something simple, or something that is a micro SaaS that is super expensive, then just get rid of it. Get rid of it and just have OpenClaw do it. Little by little, I've been chopping away at things and just getting rid of most of my software. Today's a talk about tools. I love to understand what tools are must-stay type of tools. That's one. And number 2 is marketing, so that you increase your branded search, right? Ultimately, the name of the game in Amazon is PPC, right? Yeah, sure. But if you have branded search in Amazon, PPC doesn't matter. You could launch anything in Amazon and just bring people over that just type your brand name. If you figure that out, then all the doors open for you in Amazon, because with the rising tide, it rises all boats, and all your other keywords are going to rise along with it. So if you figure out the branded search equation of building a brand, and you drive people to Amazon, under your brand name, you win, plain and simple. So that's the other part that I'm trying to work with on the cloud. Such as, for example, querying the Google search reports once a week to know where I'm getting my website with impressions from, understanding my keyword rankings, understanding what I should do for Google, understanding creating email flows that I'm going to send to my customer that basically connects directly to Klaviyo and does it by itself. Knowing how to talk to it, what to say, how not to say it, when, how to set up my brand vision, such as should we use HTML, should we not, should we do this or that. I don't need to learn any of that. I just basically tell it, hey, do it. Hey, is this the best way to do it? Yes, no, should we do something else? Let's try that. That's it. So it's the smartest, most capable assistant that you will ever have. And basically I'm 12 days in, so I'm not very far along at all, even though we launched 3 months ago. This is all very new for everybody. But I'm literally 12 days in, and I've done a lot of stuff so far. I currently have 26 running scheduled tasks, anything from data collection to creating tasks in my business. And little by little, just keep adding more and more and more, and that's it.
Regarding, well, one distinction with like OpenClaw, and this is a question, not a statement, so you could let me know. You've been a successful operator on Amazon for how many years?
11?
Well, successful for one, an operator for No, you've been a successful operator on Amazon for 11 years. You're able to first know what tasks are important based on 11 years of experience. You know what softwares to get and how those softwares go about doing things based on that. And you're also very good at breaking tasks down into like little micro tasks. So for somebody who is like down with OpenClaw, but doesn't have that level of Amazon seller experience, what are some things maybe that they could would be worth them working on to get off their plate and have OpenClaw do it, in your opinion?
See, the great thing about talking to LLMs is that you don't need to know things. You just need to know how to ask for things, right? So like, for example, I was in a group chat with people that they were asking me something along the lines of, oh, but when I'm querying, when I'm taking my SPSDR reports, I need a delay of this and that because then the reports go bad. And the reality is, you don't need to learn any of that. You just basically tell it, hey, I don't care how you do it, figure it out, and download the reports. And the LLM will go out there and do that, right? So that's the first answer to the question. The second answer to the question is just be more training yourself to be more systems thinking. You need to be able to think about how to query and how to think about the processes that you want accomplished, how to tackle every single aspect of things that could go wrong in the query, in the prompt that you're sending it, how to think about the intent of what you want the particular task to do and how it coincides or correlates to everything else that you're doing in your business, and go from there. Now, not a lot of people, not everybody is capable of thinking that way, right? But if you can work on doing something like that, you don't really need to know how to do things. You just need to understand, I really want to get this done because it helps me with this task and that task. Please help me figure it out. And the LLM will just give it to you. And OpenClaw will execute it for you.
Yeah, I hear you. I love seeing like there's something, like if I was to ask other people what they think I'm really good at, they'll tell me a whole bunch of things and I'll be like, but that's basic stuff. Like I don't feel like that's that big of a thing. And the thing is, because it's so like breathing to me, it doesn't seem like it's worth even sharing or giving advice on, because it's like, of course everybody knows that. I think, like I understand the power of systems, and I'd love, until really seeing how like you think systems, I used to think, yeah, I'm a very systems oriented person, but I'm very like, okay, I realize this is a repetitive task. It's taking X amount of time. The skill set needed for somebody to hire to do this thing is X. Go hire X, and then let's document the process. But you seem to, I almost feel like it's the same with you. Like you could be half drunk, which is one Beck's Light for you, like, you know, half drunk and half asleep, and you think that way anyway. So it's like more of a, I think you underestimate that most people don't think that way. Whenever someone says, all you gotta do is know how to prompt the LLM, I'm like, do you know how much stuff, like, you've heard of a Boolean search?
A Boolean search, yeah.
Right. So like there was all these types of ways that you could search using Google that no one ever did. Right? And they didn't because they didn't know how to. I feel like that's those people that didn't know how to search on Google are the same people that are not going to know how to search and prompt on an LLM. You agree or no?
Yeah, I agree. Ultimately, you know, you have to think about it in practical terms. Like let's give it a real complex example. Marketing, right?
I'm glad we agree on that. Yes, marketing.
Yeah, marketing. You want more people to come to the meetup, right? So what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is get people on your email list so that you can tell them, hey, come this Saturday because, you know, or tune in this Saturday because blah, 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 blah. If that is your goal, then that's one part of the equation. But the other part of the equation is, well, I also got to post in Facebook. I also got to post in Discord. I got to post here and post there. So that's the type of thing that you can think about it. It needs to be done. And you see how the correlation of everything works together. But you don't have the time to do all of that, right? You don't have the time to be posting everywhere. You don't have the time to craft the email. So a system like OpenClaw, you'll say like, this Saturday I am doing a meetup about tools. And I'm gonna give you all the support you need and all the documentation you need to be able to post on Facebook, create a mini video regarding the topic, post it here, also post it over there, and post it here, and do everything together. So they all correlate together so that you hit the customer at the same time in 3 or 4 different ways. That's how you think about it, and you set it up, and OpenClaw executes.
So I don't know if since I'm a marketer at heart, like I don't know if I'm coming here if we're mincing words or if I'm coming in here like to defend marketing that no, you can't just get an AI and do it. So full transparency there. But like, let's use the example you just gave. Meetup's coming, want to get a bunch of people to the meetup on X topic. I give it access, it has access to Facebook, it knows to go do these posts. But what it doesn't know is how frequently it should post. It doesn't know that at a certain point, like it might say, I'm gonna post 3 times a day. Well, it doesn't know things, like, not that it doesn't know, I don't know if I'm using the right word, but it doesn't have the judgment to say, people are now numb to this. Like, they don't understand that after seeing something so many times, people just become blind to it. They become, there's a point where someone's annoyed that might trigger an unsubscribe. It doesn't know things like, well, you know what? For me to get this going, maybe I should provoke some conversations with Ramon around some new tips that we're going to share in OpenClaw at an upcoming meetup, because that's going to have someone coming back to look, oh, and Ramon's going to be at that meetup, so that I can indirect, you know what I mean? Like the marketing is more that than post.
So you're absolutely right. So my response to that is that the very beginning of the system that you're creating around posting to get people, you know, into the meetup is based on your intuition, based on what you know works and what doesn't. But these are systems now that self-learn. They need data.
Okay, no, we agree.
They need data, but they're not going to get it right on the first go unless you specifically tell them, this first one time, I want you to do it this way, but the second week, I want you to change this.
Oh, no, we agree.
And then you get data by yourself, and you look at what's happening, and you go like, that kind of worked, but I think this might work better.
We agree.
After a few tries, the system learns what works and what doesn't, and it starts to do it better.
Yeah, we agree. I thought you started this line with, the good thing here, you don't even need to know. And that's what I was saying. Like, I was like, no, I think you need to know. But if what you're saying now.
You could get started with the knowledge that the LLMs have. If you don't know anything, you could get started with that. It may not be perfect, but it kind of works until you get the experience along the way, or the system itself learns.
Better than nothing.
Better than nothing.
Right.
100%.
Okay, we'll go with better than nothing. What do you think? Which side of this do you fall on? Remember, I brought the pastelitos, so side one. Okay, no, that's good. Candace says she's working on the prices for the order. Any progress on that, Candace? What else? Man, I hit the gym hard today. My trainer just went berserk. Like, I'm still like woozy. Like, I feel like I need to eat. So today, your motivation for coming to hear about the tools in the
Yeah,
business is
yeah,
more of
let's
like,
find
what tools can I do OpenClaw with instead of that? That'll be interesting.
I have a list of kill shots that I want to get rid of. It's just a matter of time to execute.
Another AI thing, and I have no idea if this goes into politics. If it is, we'll just like, we'll hit eject and we'll get out of here. But what happened with Anthropic? Have you guys seen something that Anthropic said or did something? I have no idea what, honestly. And then apparently the president and the federal government banned them from the federal, or is trying to ban them from the federal government for X amount of time. And then I saw one little piece, but no, when I read something, I have no idea if this is real information or AI information now. So like, I'm like, what? And on one hand, it's like, oh wow, like is somebody from AI creating this fake conversation? Because if you're a brand and you want to show that we're so powerful, we're the most powerful, thinking that the government needs to do a post about you is really helps you, right? Then the other part of it is, why is top officials in the government weighing in on a company? You know, and then on the other one it said threats to the, and I'm like, what happened? There was a post with Anthropic saying, we have no idea if it'll be the AI automation of weapons or something. Like, does anyone know what happened?
Yeah, the government wants to be able to use Claude, Anthropic, for unmanned vehicles, like rather to be able to bomb other people using AI as opposed to having man in the loop in the equation. Anthropic feels that their technology is not good enough to guarantee that that's going to work correctly. And the second thing is that the government wants to be able to use AI to just monitor U.S. citizens, and Anthropic straight up said no.
The thing is, that code of Anthropic, it seems like thinking of being like a solution over the human being, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't care if something that the AI does fit the humanity.
Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, that kind of sounds like.
So Anthropic said no, and the government said like, oh yeah, okay.
So the government's upset because a company said no to working with them?
The company said no to monitoring U.S. citizens, using AI to monitor U.S. citizens, and using AI for, to drive weapons of destruction.
I mean, here's a dumb question. Does the government not have their own AI?
No.
The government doesn't have their own AI?
No.
That's kind of wild.
Do you really trust the government enough to build an AI that's going to
I think that's beyond the scope of like our meetup, but that's kind of weird. I don't know. I'm trying to like frame my, please. Oh my God, thank you. I'm like falling asleep. Thank you, bro. So I'm trying to frame my response to that in a way that doesn't like, I guess, trigger anybody. I heard a story that there was a person that was arrested for murder based on Alexa audio. So like the Amazon Alexa devices, how they don't listen or whatever. Well, apparently they do, but they can't. They need to always be listening because they need to hear a trigger word. And the Alexa device was present where like a murder happened, I guess like a domestic, and they were successfully able to, they meaning I'm assuming the government, the police, the FBI or whatever, was successfully able to go into it, and they were successfully able to go into it and grab that audio and use it against the person. So the government doesn't have an Alexa device, but they're able to go into that device and use that. So what's the difference here? Like the government can't just get the AI and use it?
Apparently Cloud
Isn't it
said
like
no.
an API thing?
Yeah, you have an API connection, and if the API connection returns out, no, I'm not going to help you with that, then it doesn't work.
I want to be in the position where I'm a business.
Exactly.
I want to be a business that gets to turn down the federal government as a client. You know what I mean?
Exactly right, yeah.
You gotta, that's,
And they're not even public. They're not even public.
you know what, I want to own a company like that. You know, I'd love to say that I don't make exceptions and I'm like, oh, this person's going to be difficult, but I still work with them, you know? I want to get to a point where that's never the case and it's only like the dream person, right? But man, to be able to just say, nah, federal government, like, I don't want to be your exclusive AI for your entire, like, war, you know what I mean? Like,
Hey, the way that I see it, Anthropic just pushed back Skynet for a couple of years.
push back Skynet. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna get this back on Amazon topic because like that topic for me is, I don't know. Everyone said AI was gonna replace, like we're gonna all lose our jobs. Do you still believe that?
Well, did you see what happened with Block?
With where?
Block.
Block?
Jack Dorsey, who was the CEO of Twitter, he went back to his previous business, which is Block. They own Square, they own WhatsApp, they had 10,000 employees. The guy goes like, effective immediately, we are hiring 4,000 employees. Why?
See, but almost everyone's laying off people like right now. Like that's going on everywhere. So
No, not to that extent though. They're firing 40% of the employees, and the reason being because AI, and the second reason because he felt like doing it slowly would hurt morale with the company as opposed to just one-time shot. So he's like, okay, screw it. We're just gonna fire 4,000 people. And that's not even the effed up part. The effed up part is that the stock price for the company went up.
Went
25%.
up. Went up 25%. Oh, it'll be more profitable. So my take so far is that the more we use AI, the more people we're hiring, not the less. Like that's actually been my experience, and that's covering things like design, even writing, right? So like the things that should have been the obvious ones, the overall quality of the output and the quantity, which I mean, usually you mass produce, you don't have as much quality, right? I think quality needs to take a hit a little bit when you mass produce. We've increased the output and the quality of what we've done and hired more people. So
what you're really seeing out there is just that people are not really hiring more. They may not be firing if they're profitable.
Okay,
they're
so
not hiring.
but
Jack
how much of
Dorsey's
that
company
is
was
AI and how
different.
much of that is whatever's going on in the economy? Because everyone seems to be like laying off chunks of people. Like I remember I got a GED. I got lucky and I do really, really good in e-commerce and marketing, but like outside of that I have a GED. So like now I'm weighing into like inflation and all this other jazz. But what's up, brother? But I hear, and we used to have somebody else in the group that I used to talk to about this, was very knowledgeable about the finance space. And I'd be like, hey man, everything's going up. Everyone's talking about how this is the best thing since ever. We're saving more money, we're in less debt. How come everyone's still laying everybody off? How come it doesn't seem like everyone's sitting on a whole bunch of money? Like, what is this? And apparently he said there's this delay effect. Like, it happens here and then you really don't see that extra money and it could be 2-3 years. So maybe we're in that. But it seems like the layoffs that are happening right now seem to be not AI. They seem to be like, okay, so for example, when I first opened my first business, I had no idea. I thought you had to be like a multi-million-dollar business to hire anybody. I didn't know about virtual assistants. I didn't know about anything. So I did it all myself, almost burned out, a lot of energy drinks, insomnia, Ray's Pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning, like, and then I find out about you can hire somebody and it's actually not that bad. But I was like, wow, domestic employees are expensive. You know, there's these people that seem to know just as much or more in the Philippines. This was way back then. That's a fraction of the amount. So now we have a lot of domestic employees, but we wouldn't have been able to hire those domestic employees had we not built out our infrastructure with virtual team members, with virtual assistants. I wonder if that's kind of the same thing that's happening right now with AI in the businesses. Like before, almost anybody could get a 7-figure. You could be a solopreneur doing 7 figures. You with me, Ramon? Mm-hmm. You do 7 figures on Amazon as a solopreneur. Like,
Absolutely.
You depending on your product and your product's price point.
Let's bring AI in and let's do 9 figures solopreneur.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So like I don't know about 9, but you even had a few instances that was like some socially awkward person in their mom's basement, you know what I mean, that pulled off something close to 8 figures on Amazon. And then now we're talking about, is it possible with AI? I don't think it's 9, but I think it's very easy to believe that you can do low 8 figures on Amazon, keeping it to Amazon, but you can do low 8 figures on Amazon now as a solopreneur. Right. Is that the best way? I don't know. I think team has a lot of benefits, but
When you say that, what model do you think? Is that private label, wholesale?
it would be private label. Yeah, it'd be private label. I don't see you doing that with wholesale. Yeah, I don't see that with Amazon wholesale. No. I mean, I don't see, I guess you technically could that would be so tempting, all those hours I put in sourcing product leads, but like, could you get your AI to go in there and kind of do what PC2, was it? Price Checker 2, to go in there and like scrape storefronts and, you know, rabbit hole and all that other stuff and put together these buyer lists? Should be able to.
Should be able to.
It should be able to, but you're going to need someone to place orders. You're going to need something to forecast. Even if you're using a software for forecasting, you need someone to act on that.
It's doable. I mean, is it worth
solo on a wholesale business doing 8 figures?
I mean, remember that wholesale revenue, it's not the same as private label revenue. You got a lot of revenue and a lot less profit in wholesale. So it's possible.
Do you believe that's less profit?
I think you definitely have less profit margin in wholesale. Then depends on how fast you want to grow, right? Are you willing to take your?
Because you're not running. I mean,
Right.
if we're going to say PPC is a hefty percentage from your profit margin, you're not probably in most cases
Right.
not running PPC with wholesale.
But you price it into your purchase order because you're paying significantly more per product because it's a wholesale purchase order.
No, it's close.
So 10% profit margin is fantastic in wholesale, right? Fantastic.
Yeah, there's too much price pressure on wholesale.
There's a lot of price pressure, and it's very easy to let it get off the rails because you're sharing with other people and they just bring the price down. So it's a good business model, especially if you could figure out how to AI the crap out of it and just you have outreach done by AI, you have running lists by AI. All of that sounds fantastic. I'm sure it's possible because it's just computer work. As long as you know how to set it up correctly, it'll work.
You know what is very tempting? The Amazon wholesale model that you brought up. It's very tempting. The Amazon wholesale model that I see works right now, I would call it more agency wholesale.
Yeah.
Right? It's agency wholesale. So if you have an agency or you're deciding you're going to position yourself as an agency and you approach these brands with, exclusivity is going to scare everyone like before you started doing any business together. But you approach them and you're like, we're going to do all this. We're going to run your ads. We're going to optimize your stuff. We're going to get you going from zero to hero. And we're also going to buy from you. Like that's almost like too good to pass up for a brand. You don't need to go learn Amazon. You don't need to build out an in-house team. You don't need to let all your competitors crush you online. You know what I mean? You focus on what you're good at. That kind of allows for exclusivity without saying exclusivity. And if you're doing a good job, why does that stop? You don't have to worry about IP complaints because you're working with the brand, suspensions, and again, you're working with the source of the brand. Any letters that Amazon wants, you're going to get it. I think that's a really solid wholesale model nowadays. But like being some anonymous, I happen to find your distributor.
What about the exit from that?
No, I don't. I know like 2 people who've exited an Amazon wholesale business, and it wasn't. What they pretty much did was say, I no longer have to be on this hamster wheel, and they bought themselves out of a job, but they didn't really. My take. You anybody in your world?
No, not even 2 people. Nobody. I don't know anybody who exited a wholesale business. It's a great cash flow business. If you know how to have the employees, I will do it for you. But you cannot sell that. Basically, you would be selling systems. Most of the business relationships that are worth money to you are usually not transferable to somebody else, and if they are, they're often cut off. So it's a very huge risk for somebody else to come buy your business in the wholesale market. So I don't know of anybody that's sold.
Yeah, I know too, and it seems like it had less to do with the person buying a resale business and more to do with the types of accounts and the way those accounts were structured that they had exclusivity to.
Yeah, but that can also go away, right? An exclusivity, you know, okay, so you have an exclusivity agreement, a contract, enforceable maybe. You know, it gets renewed every number of years. Are you willing to buy 3x multiple on a contract that's gonna last 2 years? No.
I'll be a little more specific then. Like what happened in both cases, both of them leveraged the knowledge they had, so they go to these brands. And the reason I'm being ambiguous here, like, is these people are still part of the group, and they don't want me to share specifics about how it went down. But imagine you have a wholesale account with Metro Cane, like wine accessories, and you know business and you know all that. So you know somebody that's in the licensing world. So that person goes to the brand that they're working with on Metro Cane, and they broker a licensing agreement with, say, I don't know, Sasha and the Bear, I don't know. And they now have a new SKU that they have an agreement on, based structured around the licensing agreement for X amount of years, where they're responsible for selling X amount. So it's more than just, we're cutting this. Like they had to create something that builds them in for X amount of years. It was guaranteed for X amount. These people are coming in and they have these licensing arrangements. Like it was a little more than just the average handshake.
I understand that, but let's assume that narrative, right? Like you have an agreement where you have exclusivity for a product from this big brand for X number of years. How long? How many years is that going to be? Like 2, 3, maybe 5?
Usually 5.
Yeah. Are you really going to get a 3x multiple on a wholesale business when he has a contract?
No, they got like a 1.5. It wasn't like they pretty much just got out from, they got rid of a job.
Yeah, precisely.
Right.
Right. You're not going to get much more than that. And are you willing to sell for that? For that, you just don't.
Yeah. I think nowadays with what's out there, like it's not a strong argument to get into Amazon wholesale. The argument used to be the risk factor, but like the risk factor, there's a lot of risky stuff around wholesale right now that doesn't. I mean, wholesale's not without risk anymore. Yeah. Is that your model? How about you? What do you do? Have you started selling?
No.
Or are you going to do what he did last week and play like the beginner?
I'm learning some things.
Okay, well, then you're doing good. Then you're doing good. Are you guys business partners or no?
No.
No.
We're just like,
Well, that means you guys are going to stay friends.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's good. No, I'm not. I guess any of my business partners, that didn't work out well with none of my business partners. So, yeah. Chris, what about you? What's new in your world?
Yeah, mainly lean in on, narrow in on our private label. We do still do a little bit of wholesale, but we're kind of getting beyond that. We want to try to work on our like Amazon influencer stuff. Do that maybe.
Yeah, that's really good. Make sure to pick one or two of those things we talked about last week and start implementing them.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much end of February. You will be getting your first PL sales in March.
Perfect.
Yeah, you excited?
Looking forward to that.
Heck yeah.
It's been a long journey.
How long has it been since you picked the product? To 8 months?
No, it's probably been like 2.5 years now, I think.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
No, since you started on Amazon. I'm talking about since you chose this product as your PL when we started.
Yeah.
No, not 2 years.
I think so, yeah. Maybe a year and a half.
Maybe a year.
Year and a half. So I think it was like September, October, November of the previous year.
Oh, wow.
I think that's.
Well, maybe about a year and a half. Wow.
Because we pretty much were there in July,
Mm-hmm.
but then it just didn't work out with the supplier and other, you know, nuts and bolts in. So we had to look, source for it some elsewhere. So that's what delayed us, and then, so we had to kind of restart the whole process over in like August, September. So,
That is wild. That is wild. What else? Let me think what was going on this week. This week we were heavier into AI than I think we've ever been. I was actually talking to Brian, who's on the chat. I can scroll. He said something, and I missed it. I was on the right there, one that says equity facts. Who also does not check WhatsApp, by the way, just public service announcement. And it was Dimitri. Hello, you can't be there today. Greetings. He's at Bike Week. Nice. We talked about AI a lot specifically, and one of them is really influencing one of the tools that I'm going to talk about today. There's actually 2 AI specific ones that are going to be on my list today, which is a big change, a pretty rapid change since the last time we did it. But one of them has to do with A+ content. Yeah, with the A+ content that goes on your Amazon listing. I'm close. Well, in the same point that you said, once you know what should go in it and shouldn't go in it, what works, how to evaluate your competitors, I'm pretty much there saying you should be using Nano Banana for that, like hands down. Like there's no, I don't know of a, especially if you're able to, if you could take the time to build up a little library of what is considered good A+ content. I'm close to saying like there's no need if you're launching products frequently, there's really no need to carry a designer. Well, there's no need to carry multiple designers just for A+. A+ seems very solvable with AI. So you need someone to make some minor tweaks and maybe guide, the direction, but no, yeah.
What do you think are the 3 things that must be in a good A+?
3 things that must be in a good A+. Things that are not in the top of the listing.
Exactly.
Right, that's number 1. If you hit that,
How
you're,
many people you have on the top of the listing? If you couldn't fit it into those main images,
Yeah.
then put it on there.
yeah. I like to, in the main images,
When you say top, you are talking about main images or title of the point?
main and secondary images, but top of the listing, those images. What is it, 7 or 9 now? Those, first you should maximize that. If you get that wrong, I think your A+ is going to be weak. But don't show like the product like this, and then the product like this, and then another one that shows the product like this. Like, you could do that in one image if it was necessary. Don't waste space. If you needed to show this, also show the scale of it somehow. Like, accomplish a lot of things here. If this was a cup that changed color based on the, maybe the coffee you poured in, show that coloration and how it heat's rising. Like, turn it into something nice. Most listings that I look at, they'll have 4 images in that main slot that could be pulled off in one better.
The reality is, it brings, not saying it's not necessary, but I am saying the benefit of it plus is very small. Like usually, the whole point is you're going to tackle all the objections that people are going to have usually in the first 7. If not do that, then right, that's the whole point. That's the reason for it. Most people, they make up their mind by image 3. By then, they say, I'm buying it, or I'm not buying it. Right? Image 4 on, it's not that important anymore. But by the time you get to A+, only changes things by 1% of the total revenue you can have that SKU. So I'm not saying it's not important. Obviously, 1% is 1%. You have to optimize everything. But the reality is, if you cannot figure out how to address every single objection in the first 7 images, then then you're probably not optimizing your images well enough. More than likely not. But assuming that you have optimized it and you have not covered all your objectives in those 7 images, then go first.
Yeah, I agree with that. The other thing I try to do with the main images is visually support or back up what's in the bullets. So if you're talking about dishwasher safe, there should be something that communicates visually dishwasher safe. So like, that's gonna happen. There's some instances where you can't achieve all that with the main images.
But we're basically saying the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Address objections in the images and the bullet.
Right. I feel like the main images is what gets them. The bullets are there because you should fill them out and they're great for the algorithm and all that other jazz, but like, they're good looking at the images. And then if they looked at the bullets or the images first, when they see the other one, it's validation that yes, it's what it is, and you're getting them to convert. I've heard it said it's 3 to 5% as to what A+ converts extra. But that's how the stat reads. That's what Amazon shares. I think though, it's probably 5%, but it's not 5% of all traffic that comes to the listing. It's 5% of the traffic that goes to the listing that also goes to the A+ content, which is a very small amount. Right, so it's 5% of the very small amount. If somebody goes down to your A+ and your A+ is done right, I can easily see that it would convert. I could give it 5%. I mean, arguably, I would even say if it's done right, it would probably do more. But it's a percentage of a tiny percent. Most people are not going down there. I also think that, and I've never been able to prove this, but I think having looked at a lot of like back-end reports, like these underground black hat back-end reports of Amazon, they seem to almost grade a listing, and a listing that doesn't have all of the bells and whistles and features maxed out into it seems like it would get less of a grade. And I'm hard pressed to say that would not impact search at all. I cannot prove that though.
Ultimately, 1% is 1%. Even if it's 5, great. It's 1, it's 1. You just got to optimize for everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, if you're given a lever to pull, you pull it.
Yeah.
Right? And same thing with strikers. Same thing with coupons. Same thing with discounts. You have a lever, pull it.
Yeah, so not what's above. I think the answer I want to give is it depends on the product, but that's a sucky answer. I think that's a good opportunity to get into branding. Like, let's just say you were able to cover everything you wanted above, and now you wanted to communicate other things about the brand.
Cross-selling, showing a carousel, maybe?
I think comparisons, if you have a catalog that does that, is good to do. But I think talking a lot about the brand, all lifestyle.
What about video?
Yeah, if you use video, use video. Again, you're talking about a really small percentage though that are going to go down there. During the holidays, Christmas it up, Valentine's it up, like have some different graphics you can swap out. If it's giftable, show it being giftable.
Now, here's something you said that I disagree with. I think Amazon has moved on from this whole keyword stopping thing, and it's more about conversion optimization. So in the listings, you need to
What part did you disagree with though?
matching the bullet points to the images as a necessity. I think that
I'm saying for humans, not the algorithm.
fair enough. So when you're saying something like dishwasher safe screen, for example, you need to care about ranking for that keyword, indexing for that keyword, that are in your listing, like the conversions with that keyword in the listing. The moment that you get the conversions, the index for that keyword, and you're somewhere in that list of products that come up with that keyword, you do not need to mention it. You don't mention it. You can absolutely take it out of the listing and optimize the bullet points for conversions. And it doesn't matter that it's not there you should not lose your position that you established while it was in there. So you optimize for conversion, you optimize for Rufus, and you'll be better off than keyword stuffing.
I think you and I definitely fall on opposite ends on that. I don't disagree with what you said though. Like once you get the conversions on that, you should, if someone searches for dishwasher safe whiskey glass, even though you removed it, you should still be coming up for it. We're agreeing on that. I think when you write for Rufus, you're not, it's a balance, but you could write 100% for humans, and then you're gonna suffer probably in the algorithm a bit. You could write 100% for the algorithm, but then you're gonna suffer on some of the human side. But like, I think.
But you write for the algorithm to index. The moment you rant, you don't need to write for the algorithm anymore.
Yeah, I think, like the dishwasher safe one specifically, I really think for say a whiskey glass, most people are not searching for dishwasher safe whiskey glass, right? Like look at that one. I think that's is that a wine glass or a whiskey glass up there? That's Candace's, by the way, that I'm pointing to. That's a wine glass, right? I don't think, like somebody looking for that, they didn't search for dishwasher safe B wine glass, right? But when they get there, in her case, it's reverse. I don't believe that thing's dishwasher safe. I think you'd have like bedazzled B parts everywhere. It's hand wash only, right? So like, and I don't think anyone searches for hand wash wine glass. But you're gonna wanna put hand wash in there.
Index, and you're gonna want rant. You need to put it.
I don't know. That's a good debate there.
We're shifting to like a Rufus and Cosmo, and I think it's very interesting, like to understand.
He went from I'm a beginner learning, and now he's dropping Rufus and Cosmo. Maybe. No.
I'm like an undercover agent.
See, no, yeah, let's tell you about Cosmo.
So in this case, I'm seeing like a lot of people pushing for like a roofing and Cosmo.
Yeah.
I'm still like thinking keywords indexing and the old way. But he's saying like you need to optimize for Rufus and Cosmos as everybody else.
After you index. After you rank.
Okay, after you index, okay, you have like a cell history, you are ranked, you're everything, okay. But the thing is, how can you measure the impact of being like a Rufus and Cosmo optimized versus being the old school?
Because you don't lose.
How do you measure the
You're not gonna be able to measure.
By removing the keywords, stripping your listing, and realizing that you're not losing sales. Realizing that the keywords are staying, your keyword rankings are staying.
Yeah, but so let me push back. So like you're validating it because you're not losing sales because you removed it. You're also not probably growing sales. How many people don't buy because the validation is not there? Because they saw, I'm unsure if it's dishwasher safe, or I'm unsure if it's handwritten.
Doesn't the algorithm get care of that? If you're number one for a keyword, and the keyword is a keyword that you removed, does it matter that you removed it? No, doesn't work that way.
No, not once you've indexed.
Well, it doesn't work that way. Even if you have those keywords, and you're ranking for that keyword, for you to take over me, you have to beat my conversion.
You have to convert more per day than him for X amount of time on that search.
So whether you have it and I don't, that doesn't matter. What matters is that you beat my conversion. That's
Right
all.
now, if you don't have it in your listing at all, and you didn't get any conversions yet, you're not going to rank for that or come up for it because you never indexed for it. I believe you'll steal some sales unnecessarily because you're safe. Probably not enough to pass him on a hard keyword, but like, yeah, but what he's asking, like, how do you test it? Like, how could you, I don't think you can like really fully test it. My thought is some people now, because you do have it, some people don't see it there, they don't go, and they're like, I see it here, and this is important to me, and then they get it, so you are technically.
But regardless of the reality, nobody wants to see a block of text. Nobody wants to read a bullet point where you have 5 rows of text. Nobody reads that. People will read a one-liner and a bullet point, and then the second liner, and that's it. That's how you optimize for conversion. Why you added that one-liner? You absolutely must add keywords. Now, if if dishwasher safe is a must-have keyword, it's not. But you don't need to have every single keyword in there the moment you index. The moment you index, you rank, you're not getting, no going up or down in the ranking, you're done. If it's not important to put in that one liner, you don't put it, and it's not going anywhere.
Is there a question on
You need a software that tells you, hey, this is your rank position, and, yeah.
Let's see. All right. Where do we start?
So would you say that you would use a strategy based on keywords for a launching, and then you shift to a
100%.
intent-based
Well,
writing?
I don't think any of us are debating that they should be in there to start and launch and get indexed, and then now it's more of a, now it's more of a, I think now we're getting into like a really small percentage of what makes the beer taste good, if you will, and that's, does dishwasher safe need to stay in the written form, since I think it's an accepted fact that people don't read, right? And if you're able to put it in there visually in the photos, is there something else that you might be able to put in for and start indexing for that is not needed? Or maybe you can even write more human because you removed it. That's the,
At this point, whenever I get a new keyword that I discover a new keyword, and I'm like, well, what happens for this keyword? I want to add to my list. I don't even add it to bullet points anymore. My bullet points are optimized for conversion. They're like 1 or 2 liners, like small bullet points that are just optimized to get the customer to read, scan quickly, and decide whether they want my product or not. And if I want to add a new long tail keyword in there, it's just gonna break it. So what do? I just add it to the generic terms, let it get indexed, run PPC through it until I get to my position, and off we go. But again, that's a different mentality than you have. You probably would have the bullets.
100%, I would.
So how do I know mine is too long or?
You need a rank tracker software, a
Yeah.
software that tells you for this ASIN, this keyword ranks in position blah, blah.
Which we have. Right, we rank track your stuff.
I just want to add to what you said.
That's how
there.
I feel whenever you come back.
So
you're
if
like,
you're
how
more
are
an
things going? And I was like, you're
established
moving up in
listing,
page position.
wouldn't you
That's
want
because
to
looked
do
at a
the
rank
long
tracker
tail
and we can see
keyword
movement.
in the back
You can
end?
move from
Because
page
then
5
you could
to
start
page
converting
3,
for things that
and that
you wouldn't
necessarily has nothing to do with
convert
sales.
with the generic terms.
So if you have an established product,
Yeah.
you
Pretty
probably
constant.
rank for a whole bunch of keywords, long tail, just fine. If you discover a new keyword that just so happens that you're like, oh, I'm not indexed for this keyword, or I'm not ranked for this keyword, then you can decide how you're going to do it. If you're not ranked well, it's not a matter of adding it to the bullet points. It's a matter of running PPC to it. It's something specific. But if you're not indexed, period, meaning the keyword doesn't recognize your product as a product to show within the top 100 locations, then you gotta index. How do you index? You put it on your listing. Where do you put it? Wherever you want to. For me personally, I don't want to break the conversion rate up to my small bullet points that I have, so I just add them generic terms.
Right, no, I got you, but you said, once you are ranked, you are listed, then you will not add a new long tail keyword because you don't want to break it. But I feel like at that point, you would want to add a long tail keyword because that's something new that would help add additional new unknown revenue.
So that's why I added the generic terms, but it's not show the listing and it still helps you index.
Helps, I would argue, not the most effective way to help.
Maybe not the most
It gives you like a team versus, and you shouldn't do this. I would call what he's doing an extreme, but it does give you a help. This other extreme you shouldn't do either, to his point, because you'd break it. The best one to do is put it in the front of your title. Right.
That is absolutely the best one.
Right, so that's, so the difference between front of title and generic is a world of difference. This is gonna break a lot, because it shouldn't be the main one you're going after. Right, so that's the spectrum you're playing on. And the reason it's not such a, leave here and go do that is because there's competitors involved, there's rankings, there's season, there's a whole bunch of things going on. There's this given keyword is only gonna bring in X amount of sales. So it's also, he's talking about not doing it to start, right? You
No,
you
I'm
go
not
for what
saying
you're gonna do to
start.
start, and then later on, you're just trying to pick up extra crumbs and bolt
Yeah.
it on, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One grain of rice at a time, right? That's it.
One what?
One grain of rice at a time.
One grain of rice at a time. That's how he started.
What about the back end? like a search intent and like a internet use and those things. Are you seeing results like optimizing those?
I mean, we do them because,
No?
yeah, when you do it, we do it, but I don't,
You don't see a real impact?
no,
Okay.
no, not at all. Never have.
Because they say like right now, being like optimizing those is the most important thing for roofs, for example. But I'm not
I-
sure.
There's a lot to talk about roofs.
Yeah.
It's important fun, but like, does anybody reading it?
No. I would just check the source of who's saying that. Is
Yeah.
it someone that has a course out there on Rufus? Is it a content creator that needs some new content to jump on LinkedIn? Like, what is it? At the end of the day, I think we spend, oh, yeah, I'll bring a thing of water out. Hold on, let me open the door so I can bring a thing of water out, I forgot. But at the end of the day, I think people spend like 99% of the time talking about the 1% of the things you can get a lift on, and 1% of the time talking about the 99% of the bases, which brings you your money.
Is this our 2-minute break now? I was a couple weeks ago, I was like, we need a 2-minute, we're getting our hour topic, a 2-minute break.
So he's asking this is a 2-minute break.
This is our 2-minute
Is this the
break.
two, is it, oh, we're gonna do the 2-minute, that's right. I'm glad you
I'm
reminded
gonna
me.
keep reminding you of this. I mean, it's a little like 2
He
minutes.
pretty much just said, I gotta pee. Let's do the 2-minute break so we can get into the,
Thank you, sir.
get your pastelitos and everything.
I don't have to use the restroom or anything, but. But see, something like this, you need a intermission there.
Yeah. He called for the 2-minute break, and then he's like, I don't have to go to the bathroom.
Just overloaded with info. He just
Right.
wanted 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Stretch break.
Let's see. It's well past midnight here in India. Good night, Carlos. Good night, Lokesh. Uh-oh, let's see. Looks like he went on a rant. Let's see. David Graeber, 1961, an American anthropologist, argued in BS Jobs that many modern roles exist mainly for status and bureaucracy rather than real value. Look like just me. His BS Jobs category mapped cleanly onto the kinds of work AI can absorb first. It's expected to affect. See, that word affect doesn't say replace, affect. 40% of knowledge, paperwork, marketing, and legal jobs globally in 3 to 5 years. Yeah, interesting. I'm not seeing it. There's I guess on the 2-minute break, before we get into the topic of the week, what is this thing called? It's not double dipping, but during COVID, I connected with more people via Zoom, and then after we would finish the meetup on Zoom, the networking went on for hours. And people felt more comfortable sharing stuff on Zoom networking after hours than they even did in person. I don't know, it was a safer place, I don't know. And there was a guy that used to be in this group that found out that there's actually a lot of people that do this ever since 2020 when remote jobs became, I don't know, for a little bit there was like normal, right? And that is, we've heard of the Pareto principle where 20% of the people do 80% of the work, right? So in, I guess, corporate America, the Pareto principle exists. And what happens is some of these people, who I guess they self-identify as they're the 20% that do 80% of the work, say, we don't like this, right? So we're gonna just we're gonna stop being like super ethical about this, and we're gonna hold down multiple full-time jobs remotely at the same time. And
I have a couple of those.
I have a friend of those. Like, still working.
some of them had 6 full-time, huh?
Is that 6 part-time?
6 full-time jobs. And they're bragging about it. They're like, boss is an idiot. He says I'm his best worker. And I was like, I felt like it was very unethical. I don't know, I'm very conflicted on it, but like, I felt like it was unethical because I guess I was putting myself in the position of the business owner who is writing these payroll checks. And I have this policy where I don't send any messages to anyone on my team on the weekend or after hours. I don't. It's like, I need you to disconnect. I need you to have your space. I need you to recharge and be better for when you come back. So I'm doing all that, banking that you're getting X amount of I mean, I'm not your dad, but like, I'm banking on you getting 8 hours of sleep or close to it. I'm banking on you recharging. I'm banking on you being healthy. If you're holding down multiple jobs, first, you're doing the bare minimum for me. Second, I'm not getting your full mental bandwidth. Like, I'm not getting a fresh you. So yeah, I feel almost like I'm being taken advantage of, like I'm being stolen from. So yeah, I have an issue with it.
That's why you hire AI employees that never see and never hire them.
You know, it would not be as hard if you're not the same person that also still tries to hire Filipinos for $2 an hour. Or you're up to $3.50, or you just do AI. Okay.
But you say that, but that's only true
If it's what?
if it's affecting the chat. Because what has happened is,
You only have so much bandwidth in the day.
right, but for the 20% who choose 80%, they tend to have their jobs down to a science that they can do probably 4 hours.
No, I hear you. That's almost verbatim what the counter argument was. What made me think of it was what Brian said here was that AI expected to affect 40% of knowledge, paperwork, marketing, and legal jobs. I'm wondering if what AI is really going to do is just expose the people that are not adding value, right? Exposed. Yeah, I think it continues to expose those people, and those people are now going to have to start. I think people are going to need to start doing more of what they genuinely enjoy and are curious to do, because the amount you're going to have to immerse yourself into a thing to be good at it is going to go up dramatically.
I think conflicted in terms of, it has exposed some, but whereas corporate America says, oh, AI is gonna do this, AI is gonna do this, if you have built AI, you know that the people that you're actually doing are the people who understand what you did.
I agree.
IT can only do what you in operations tell them to do. They don't understand the business, all they're doing is building it, right? So they need guidance as to how it works. I can know the process, but if I'm not keeping up with that process will change, it will break, it will this. So you actually do need, so affecting is the correct word, it shouldn't be necessarily replacing.
Yeah, no, it's good. One more thing on this, and then we're going to end our 2-minute break and get into the topic, is we, throughout with my team, I decided two things regarding AI. One, we're all going to use the same one. We're not going to be jumping around to whichever one this week they said is the better one. Only, and I mean the main one as far as our workhorse. If there's like a specialized AI that does something regarding our videos and the only application of it is this very specific thing around videos, then we'll have that. But as far as our workhorse, our knowledge base, the central nervous system, we're not going to have, you know, Fulana uses ChatGPT and so uses Anthropic and this person uses Claude and Claude is better for, I do a lot of scripting and storyboarding for like content that we create, and apparently Claude is like the best one for it. I'm in little mastermind groups with other people who do scripting and storyboarding, and like they're swearing by Claude. Gemini is like more than enough for me. ChatGPT I didn't feel like I was like, it was still great. So we made some sacrifices. Now we're in a better spot than when we were using just Claude for this or just for that. So one of them was just bringing one, and the other one is you don't use AI for things outside of your zone of expertise. So if you're not, what happened was I I would say thousands of dollars in subscriptions for things like Sora and all this cool video stuff, right? Even myself, like I had one just for myself. It was very difficult to tell the difference between, what's the difference between PlayStation and Sora. Like, I'm not a video person. Like, do I find it fascinating? Yeah, but just because I have AI does not mean I'm gonna be banging out good video work, right? That's not how that works. Now what I wanna do is I wanna get my video people and I wanna give them all the video AI they have that they want and that they need so they can just explode. But if your thing is not this one specialty, I don't want you dealing with that AI. Like, for that, that's a hobby you can have outside of work. Like, we made those two changes and that was huge. Yeah, it was addictive. I was getting into these different AIs and I'm sinking hours of my day so that I could go do a post about a talking duck doing a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, how does that help me in my business?
I think for e-commerce, having the best AI, we're not looking at the edge cases of reasoning necessary, right? So we just want normal. So all of them work. Static. The great thing about Gemini is that if your whole business is surrounded around Google business, right? Like if you have your emails within Google, then you're essentially already doing it. It doesn't cost anyone to
Sure.
have an LLM because you pay for it. That's why it's so great about it, you save money. But at the same time, is it the best one? Debatable.
Sure.
Claude, by far, in my opinion, has the best reasoning model.
The best what?
Reasoning model to be able to come up with the answers that think harder and better. But I mean, it can't be free. So you get 90% of Claude with Gemini and so you get the plan. So why pay for Claude?
Yeah, I could agree. I don't know enough either way. I feel like when you're using, like if you're an ads person and you do PPC, if you knew nothing about PPC and nothing about ads, I don't know if this is a good example with Claude, and Claude's reasoning is better. Maybe Claude is better for you because you need that extra 10% on reasoning, assuming that, you know, it's better in that. But I'm finding that I really know my stuff. I could get almost any AI, like what I'm trying to figure, I could, it's kind of like Waze sometimes. It says, get off on this exit. I'm like, no, you're dead wrong. That's wrong. You don't get off on this exit. Like, I don't need to like blindly trust Waze. Like, I can use my head. So like some of these things, regardless of which one you're using, you need to pull in what you know. And I've not found it, but yeah, totally. Claude, I didn't go to Gemini because it was better than all the other ones. For what we want to do, it seemed to be better. And it was integrated, and we're paying for it anyway.
Right.
So for me, that was a no-brainer, yeah.
I can give you a practical example of something that happened to me with regards to deciding whether one better than the other. I was trying to use webhooks to go from Kajabi to Klaviyo. The problem with that is that you don't see the error messages when something doesn't connect. So both Gemini and ChatGPT were telling me, oh, now try this, oh, now try this, oh, now try this, because nobody could see the actual error message as to why it wasn't connected. I got fed up after probably 4 or 5 hours of using both at the same time, and I went to Claude and I asked him the same thing, and Claude tried it failed. Realized we're not going to get anywhere unless we figure out how to get the error message. He gave me a script. We got the error message, and the error message was simply, you're trying to match email with capital E mail. And that's the only reason why I saw it.
Where did you put the script?
Huh?
Where did you put the script?
Another function, an extra something. So basically, it was smart enough to come up with the reasoning. It doesn't matter how many things I try. I gotta figure out why.
Could you have
And try. Let me just understand why it failed, then try. And Claude was able to do that, and ChatGPT and Gemini did not.
So Claude proactively gave a suggestion
Well,
versus.
when it failed, it went like, hold on, before we can try, let's find out what it said.
Right, but you could have went back and said, hey, before we keep going on and doing this, is there a way that we could find out why it's failing? Both of them should have been able to answer, so the difference was.
But I didn't know. I didn't say
Right.
anything.
Yeah, I agree, that's very valuable. Yeah, I agree.
But once you take out the AI wrong, like for me, I think it's it's like we're in the cycle because as Claude gets better, somebody's gonna figure out, oh, we need to improve ChatGPT, we're gonna need to improve
Yeah,
Gemini.
that's why we just picked one.
And then it's like, they're all gonna,
At this point, I don't care if Gemini falls to fourth. The fact that we're using it and it's becoming something that we know, like before we just go out and buy a software, we have a process for dealing with that, you know. I think whichever one you use right now, as long as you're using something and you're fitting it into what you're doing and you're giving it to a person who's specialized in that thing, you're in good shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing right now that I think would be bad is not using it and not figuring out like where it's going to fit because it's not going away. Yeah. All right. Topic of the week. You see, you got a 6-minute break. Since we have 10, I made a list. You know what I've noticed? I've become like OCD on. Like what I just did right now is I went back to inbox 0. Like if I see like 5 other like. Yeah. All right. Let me pull this doc open. And what we're going to talk about is top 10 tools. So I left out a whole bunch of other things that I would have like put together. Like for example, I tried to make them as close to Amazon specific as possible because we're in an Amazon meetup. And by that I mean Audible for me. An audiobook thing is technically a tool. Podcast and listening to specific podcasts on certain things to me is technically a tool that I use like for my business to stay current on stuff. I didn't add those. There's a lot of other things that I use that I feel like are super important. There's also things like I use SEMrush or Ahrefs a lot. I didn't add that, and what I use that for, just to put it out there, is I'm realizing that there's, and I'm too chicken, I think you'd say, to start a software right now in this age of AI, where tomorrow it's just a free thing, you know. But I don't know of a software that you'll see a product selling on Amazon and you're like, wow, this thing's got 4,000 sales per month. But it doesn't seem to really be backed up by the keywords. So to me, that means a lot of this is external traffic. Where's the external traffic coming from? So I try to expose listicles, blog posts, traffic to websites. SEMrush and Ahrefs helps me a lot with that. I'll search around specific hashtags or brand name on TikTok, which is usually a culprit that comes out, but not so obvious because you're expecting to see millions of views on stuff, but it doesn't. You could have thousands with a few hundred.
What did you say about the TikTok thing? I'm sorry.
So well, basically what I try to do is I try to expose where this external traffic's coming from, because if you see how they've actually achieved this on Amazon, you might have a better idea to do it. Otherwise, you're going to get a product and you're going to launch it on Amazon and you think, oh, they turned on Amazon PPC and that's how they got here, and that's not how they got there. And if you try to model that, you're going down. Right, so like branded search is where you want to be. Well, Ramon was speaking on that earlier. So number 1 on my list with that, like I didn't include Ahrefs or SEMrush. What I did include, and it's now pretty much the tool that I'm using most during the day, it's 2 different tools that I'm just pretty much pulling them into one, and that's Calodata and Fastmoss. I always get the name wrong. I think it's called Fastmoss, but it's pretty much just us what Calodata does. And think of it as the Jungle Scout or Helium 10 of TikTok, right? That's the easiest way I can do it. And that's the closest I'm able to get to quickly seeing like what brands are doing what on TikTok. And it's massive. Look at him, he's going into OpenClaw now. Look at him. His goal at the end of this, is to build out he's like, for next week, OpenClaw. Scrape Calodata every hour.
I'm trying to save Calodata on API.
No, good. No, really good. It's the tool that I'm using most now, and I don't think that's going to change for the next few months. Calodata, if you're going to get one, get Calodata. It's K-A-L-O data. Calodata. Helium 10 has what they call their version of it. I would call it pure sanitation. Like, it's not good. Helium 10 has a lot of really good tools. This isn't one of them. So nowadays it is extremely important to know where your competitors on Amazon are getting it, especially if you're looking at them and kind of benchmarking your success and making like ad changes based on what your competitors are doing. You need to make sure you're comparing apples to apples. A lot of you in here I know are not doing any influencer stuff. If you're stacking yourself up to somebody else who is doing it, you're in trouble if you're trying to copy that with ads, with Amazon PPC. It's going to be bad for you. Does it have an API?
No.
Oof, you're going to have to buy it. I got an affiliate link if you want.
That's okay. I would have to teach my OpenClaw how to go through the UI and try to figure it out.
For coffee, I'll teach your OpenClaw.
Seems hard.
I'll teach your OpenClaw. My next one, I think dashboards are still really important. You need to know what's going on in your business. You got to be able to measure it. I'm personally a fan of Sellerize right now. What do you use for your dashboard?
Sellerboard.
Sellerboard. I love Sellerboard too. I know Vladi over there really well at Sellerboard. And they've opened some pretty cool stuff up with Shopify specifically too. This camera is killing me. All right. Any other question? And by the way, anybody online has any questions, or anybody here has questions about the tools that I'm saying here. But whether you're using Sellerboard or whether you're using Sellerize, I know both the owners are really good. I think both are great dashboard tools. Sellerize has a lot of extras that Sellerboard doesn't have. So if you want something for reviews and something for alerts, and say, if you want a whole bunch of other stuff, Sellerize has a bunch of that already baked in. So it could save you some money. Do you have a?
Not the first segment. If you're going to use all
No, but what I'm saying, is that something you plan on, like Sellerboard, do you plan on replacing it with OpenClaw?
I don't think so. It's so cheap. Doesn't make any sense to replace it.
Okay. Number 2, brace yourself. Or number 3, on-site support. I still absolutely love it. As far as a tool that just kind of like, it's almost set it and forget it, and this thing just like pays for itself. On-site support, what it does is when somebody goes to do a return or leave a review on your product, you know how you see that yellow Amazon orange button that they could just start the process with? This adds a button there, which will add something like live chat support, and basically it's going to short stop the return. You could short stop negative reviews. I think this thing has cut down about 40% of returns. You hate the tool, right? It cuts down on about 40% of your returns, and then
It basically triggers like a bottom in the
It
hand of the customer.
it leaves a button that they could choose from. So a lot of the times what's happening is someone is doing a return or a negative review because that's the only option they have. This can open up a live chat so that you can address it. This will allow you to take the customer to your website. You're allowed to put all these resources pages on your website and send them to your website. So if you're looking for a way to have a percentage of your traffic just go to your website, like that alone is good. And on the website, everyone I know that's doing this also has a pop-up chat button on that page. So it's pretty good. Almeida got his attention. Something black hat. Something black hat. I had to throw it in there.
No, I don't hate that service. I had it a long time ago, and I have a service without having to take it up.
See.
I don't remember how it happens, but I don't receive messages from there at all. So I gotta figure out if it's working, if it's not, but I mean, it's valid if you're actually seeking.
Right. I think it's a few $100, like $200 a month, something like that. So I mean, if your returns are not exceeding that, then it's going to make sense. But here's the thing. This is how I look at it. I've calculated, pulling together like as much data as I can, that a negative review is $2,500. It costs about $2,500, whether it's in inefficient ad spend, excessive ad spend, like just in that area alone, loss of a sale, who got turned off, it's roughly $2,500. So if it short stops one negative review a month, for me it's worth it. And then factor in some form of returns that are not going to happen. So like that's how I justify it. And most people, your product inherently has very little in the way of returns. Yours, I'd be curious, but it's technically an apparel, and apparel sits in the 30s.
Yeah.
Right, so like, but you also have a lower cost item, so like a bunch of considerations there. Are you currently selling or?
Yes.
What?
It's pistachio cream.
It's what?
Pistachio cream.
Pistachio cream. Oh, that's a product that I recommend sometimes to people. Yeah. Phenomenal category. Yeah. Absolutely. Huh?
All the groceries are like a difficult.
Oh yeah. Love it. Wow, you're the first person I've actually met that actually sells it. I personally love pistachio cream. So you have to let me know your brands.
I'll give you some next week.
No, tell me. I buy it, I support, and I leave you a review. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
100%. And then I get to critique it here live, so that gives me some opportunity for content.
1-star review.
Here, there's salt or no salt?
No, it's a sweet.
It's sweet.
Yeah. I also have the salty. It's like a pesto, pistachio pesto for like a pizza and pasta and stuff like that.
Tengo hambre.
Do you find salt or sweet sells more?
No sweet.
Yeah, I'm sure it's sweet.
Interesting.
Oh, that's a pretty.
I would have been.
Girls and I have this debate.
I would have been team salt all the way, but what do I know?
We have that debate going on.
Yes. Okay. My other one, and full transparency here, if I was just with 1 or 2 brands on my own and that was all I was doing, basically the reason I have this is because of the agency side of what I do. Perpetua. Perpetua, which is an advertising software that has a ton of perks with it. Not the cheapest, but it allows me, I mean, there's so many perks being part of it. It allows me to do some stuff that I've not seen me to be able to do as easily anywhere else. If I was to explore or put in all the legwork of getting into another one, for the agency and even for solo, it would be SI. Yeah, it would be Scale Insights. I find Scale Insights to have a much steeper learning curve, and the additional control that you can get, because there is some additional control that you can get with Scale Insights that you'd struggle to get in Perpetua. I don't find the juice to be worth the squeeze in there. I think the percentage we're getting into is tiny. But if I was just, I got a private label, it's my private label, I would definitely be with Scale Insights. So like, that's why I want to qualify that. But outside of that, Perpetua, if you're using Perpetua, just the types of white label stuff we can get just because you're a member there's so many betas that come out of stuff that Amazon tests that we never even get to. You get it.
What was the last thing?
The last one was, well, actually, it's the current one right now, and it's allowing. Let me. Oh, vertical ads, vertical video ads, vertical video ads in desktop and mobile, but like not, blocky square ones. Vertical that looks like TikTok style ads. Yeah.
What are those?
You're not seeing much of them. As a matter of fact, I've never seen one searching around. It's a brand new thing. Amazon rolls out things like that all the freaking time. There's certain things with like Amazon product, like Amazon branded storefront, to where you can send someone to a landing page and have some really nicely placed videos on some of those landing pages. And then Perpetua says they're deprecating this and you won't, but you're able to use them and you do great on them. The amount you spend per acquisition is nothing because there's no competition. So anytime they roll out something new, you jump on it.
I understand what's the intention.
Perpetua's they like to use the word AI. I don't think that's accurate, but it allows you to automate certain things within the world of Amazon ads. For us, I think anyone that's doing it 100% manually without any kind of rules or software, they're leaving a lot of money on the table. Anybody that's, I'm going to say anybody that's 60% or more just automation is also screwing up like really, really bad. So there needs to be still a heavy human presence, but you do want to use some of this software. Like there's some keywords that are just very difficult to go after. It's going to be very time consuming to go after. Similar to like a repricer. Imagine you and 10 people are reselling that purse, and all of you have the buy box at $15. No, that's a $100 purse, a clutch. It's a $100 clutch. And then you look, you're like, okay, we're all sharing the buy box, I'm cool with that, and you go to dinner. I decide to sell mine for $95. I now have 100% of the buy box. You don't know about it. Tomorrow morning, you see that I'm at $95, you're like, oh my God, you match me. You go with the family to the park. My software automatically dropped it to 94 as soon as you stepped away. So you're really not getting a share of it. So if you want to compete on the buy box, you want to have some sort of automation in place to be able to match or go up, or when it goes so low, shoot back up. You want to create a lot of rules in that environment when it comes to matching or where you want to be in the buy box. Say there's a lot of instances like that with ads. No?
So Walmart has it built in.
You have a wall? No.
In their platform in terms of the repricer, so.
The repricer for your product.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but Walmart, on the ad side, Walmart ads is, yeah, it's very, I don't know. eBay's beating them on ads right now, so.
Is it right?
Yeah. eBay's ad platform is much, much better than Walmart's. Yeah. Nothing else positive to say about eBay, but yeah, their ad platform is much, much better. eBay's shockingly still very big, guys.
But not bigger than Walmart, though.
I'm gonna say no. Well, if you take out eBay Motors, eBay becomes a much smaller company. But you know, eBay's not dying. How about that? eBay's not shrinking. Like, I don't know. I suspect if eBay goes out of business because all of the shoppers die, like of old age.
Because they like age out.
Because they aged out. They aged out. Like those eBay buyers age out is what happened. Like the last few times that I've gone to an eBay, and I started selling on eBay. Like that's how I got started. But like those people that I'm still seeing around, none of us are young. Like you go to an eBay event, there's no 22-year-old at the eBay event.
That's old people. Yeah.
Okay, so we had Callow Data, Sellerize, on-site support, Perpetua. Here's 3-in-1. Very, very new. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. These two of these softwares came on my radar. I asked somebody in the group to go out and validate whether it can actually do what it's saying it can do. He went out and validated it. It's true, it can. Viral View and Oink. This is really, I'm messing with it a lot because I want to create a lot of content here for the group and for everybody that, you know, maybe is just getting started and needs some extra streams of income, right? To like, or doesn't want to go back to corporate America, or wants extra money just to dump into PPC. Whatever the case may be, I don't like to get up here and talk about something unless I'm doing it. So we've had somebody come in and do some trainings on these, and now we're using them a lot. But it's Oink, Viral View, and Keepa. But apparently Keepa can do everything that Viral View and Oink can do, and we didn't realize it. Michael Morejon, I don't know if he's on the stream, came in here and showed how you could do all of that with Keepa. To me, it looked a lot more not user-friendly, like Oink.
Keepa? I
Like-
like Keepa. Keepa's awesome.
No, Keepa is awesome, 100%. But usually the deeper you get into private label, the less Keepa becomes part of the conversation for most people. You still use it a lot? Yeah. So Keepa's great, but anything you want to do in Oink and Viral View, you can do in Keepa. Yep. Michael showed me. Hit Michael up in the chat. Just. I don't know if we recorded it, but I'm planning to get him in here to do a presentation on it. Yeah.
What do you use
I'm
it
in
for?
on that too.
Well, it does a lot of stuff, but specifically what it would do is roughly with the Amazon. So if you have a brand, you have the pistachio butter. I'm assuming you have a video on your listing. Okay. You probably also have influencer videos showing up on your listing. Good, send me your listing. So what happens is now if I get your product, I can do a video on it. And as an influencer, I get to post it. You don't mind. Now, Ramon decides he wants to buy some pistachio butter. So he goes to the listing, but he's like, you know, let me see what other people think about this. And he looks at he looks at my video. And then he's like, I like it, I don't like I don't like this person, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. He buys it. Since he looked at my video, I now make a percentage off of that sale. Not from you, from Amazon's side. So with food, it's less of an impact. But like, for example, these shirts. I used to wear nothing but Heat jerseys, like sport jerseys, gym shorts, and Crocs. And my wife got to a point, she's like, no, you're not leaving the house like that anymore. Like, you need to get long sleeves. She imagined something that would, like, I gotta go to the dry cleaner for, and all that. And I was putting on a lot of weight growing my business. And I didn't wanna wear something that made me feel like a chorizo, right? And I saw this guy, you know, big muscular guy like me, wearing a shirt like this, and I was like, that looks relaxed, it looks chill. They're not cheap shirts. And I was like, I can do that. So now this is all I wear. But by seeing that person is what kind of allowed me to get a visual in my eye that I can see myself like that. So the same principle happens in the Amazon Influencer Program. People post thousands of videos on everything they can get a hold of on Amazon so that they can make these little commissions, and sometimes it adds up into the thousands of dollars per month. But eventually you run out of products that you can do reviews on, and you're now hunting for new products that you can do reviews on. That's where it starts getting into a little bit of work. You're relying on brands to reach out to you. Doable. Now you also have something called Creator Connect. You've heard of Creator Connect? And Creator Connect, if you go, I believe it's your advertising tab on Amazon. If you go in there as a brand, you can create, it's under the advertising tab, right? Yeah. You get to create campaigns. And you can say, hey, influencers in the Creator Connect world, I'm willing to give up 20% commission for every sale you get of my product, and my total budget's $5,000 or whatever. And then I can decide whether I like that. You know, if I have an audience or I like creating content around pistachio butter, then I do this. But now, me, with these tools, what you can do is say, show me products that have a brand video, meaning if there's no brand video in the listing, no influencer videos can be added. In the top. Show me products that have a brand video, don't have any influencer video slots taken, and that sells more than X per month. Because obviously, if your product doesn't sell, then I have no chance of getting commission. And then it pulls this up and shows you things like, well, if you had an influencer video here, it's estimated that you would, if you bought the product for 30 bucks, what you would make in commissions, you would pay yourself back those 30 bucks within 16 days. And then everything after that is profit. So these tools allow you to do all of that work. And it also allows you to say, well, this product is also in the Creator Connect program. So instead of just getting 2% Amazon commission from the influencer program, you get 22% because it's also in the Creator Connect. So it starts really adding up. It simplifies that part of things. So there's some people that, you know, want some extra streams of income in the group. There's some people that want to get to private label but don't have the capital to start. And then there's some private label brands that are like, I'd love to have an extra $5,000 a month to, you know. Let me tell you, the number one thing is if you try to survive off of your private label brand, that is the recipe for going out of business on that brand, because private label is not a really good thing for cash flow. Like, you need to reinvest almost everything. Like, the successful people I know have another stream of income that allows them to reinvest everything they have in their business. Like, a lot of people don't talk about that, but if you start paying your lifestyle off this private label brand, you're in trouble.
The make it sound so sweet now.
I don't. It's not that painting is sweet. I just want to paint a real picture. I don't want everyone to fail, right? That's how it is. Don't believe this. Like, wearing the. I used to wear that shirt, unemployable. That's stupid. Yeah, that's stupid. So that's what Keepa, Oink, and Viral View do. The next one that I still love is Data Dive. You still using Data Dive? I put Data Dive / Jungle Scout because I use them together. But Data Dive does a lot of things. Finding products, I think it's not good for. But understanding, evaluating products that you're thinking about is fantastic for, especially from like a keyword point of view. Like, discovering like opportunities amongst keywords for products that you want to launch, it saves so many hours of time, in our opinion. I'd say a solid 15 hours almost per listing. Like it saves a lot.
What's the difference between Data Dive and like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout?
I don't feel like Jungle Scout or Helium 10 give you a breakdown at that level with keywords.
It's another added layer, like even Data Dive uses the Jungle Scout API to get the keyword data. You just add another layer on top of it that allows you to better visualize what you can do with it.
Yeah, that's a good description of it. But I think it helps a lot with, like we use it a lot with creating listings and understanding like how, like the order that we should put keywords in on a listing and what we should prioritize based on your budget. So I think it's a must-have tool. I think it's a must-have tool if you're going to be continuing to launch private label products. If you're going to do a one-off private label, I wouldn't carry these softwares on a monthly basis. It's just not necessary. Like if you've maxed out your budget and you're not going to be able to launch another private label probably for like a year and a half, don't carry these softwares and pay for them on a monthly. That doesn't make sense. Oh, you might like this one. I used to just have at this level process.st, but now it's process.st/clickup. So we have a team member now that I would say is the ClickUp queen and is probably going to have the whole company using ClickUp. But it's called a task management or a task management software that, I mean, at the end of the day, your business is just full of a whole bunch of different tasks. You do anything from like, placing an order, everything that goes with placing an order, your listing, everything like that. And this, speaking specifically to process.st and like monday.com, where I have a lot of experience with, does a great job at it. ClickUp does too. My only beef with ClickUp is I don't think it does a great job if you also have a highly repetitive like task. Let's say, and this would be outside of e-commerce, but just in case you're getting it and you plan on using it for this too, like say a podcast, that I'm gonna create a podcast or we're gonna record a video. There's so much of that is identical every single time. And the only thing that might be swapping out is maybe the guest, but like the whole how we're gonna promote this and everything like that stays the same. ClickUp breaks when you do that, but
I don't use it to that extent, but they do have subtasks, they do have templates.
I've tried to use the subtask.
I don't use it, so maybe you know more than me, but all of that exists.
You no longer use ClickUp?
No, I definitely, I'm not, ClickUp, everyone's through that type of person, but I don't use the subtasks to that extent. I just have general tasks.
Yeah. We're probably going to phase out process.st and go, I'd say by the end of the year, we'll be completely in ClickUp, which is, I don't know, mixed feelings. But as of right now, full transparency, those are the softwares we're using. Next one's Axio. I'm loving Axio. So it's still phenomenal to source products from overseas. But Axio is owned by Alibaba. And if you have an Alibaba account and then you also get an Axio account, you can connect them. So you can grab your history of everything you've done with your Alibaba account. But even if you don't have an Alibaba account and you just want to go into Axio, here's an example. And I record content for Alibaba regarding several of their tools. Axio is one of them. It's phenomenal. So if you can go in there and say, like one of the examples they have me do, because Alibaba is more than just e-commerce, is you can go in there and say, I'm deciding that I'm going to open up a 3,200 square foot salon. What do I need?
Whoa.
And this thing will just be like, including the build out or just supplying it after the build out. And then it will put together a list of all the suppliers and all the things you need to be able to pull off a salon or like a whole project. The other thing it's really just excellent at is, let's say you're looking at, I've used as an example a lot, these his and her whiskey glasses. And you're like, okay, I want to do these his and her whiskey glasses, but I want to make them, I want to incorporate another material in them or make them non-slip, or I want them to have an ergonomic grip for someone with a smaller hand. All these different design elements you're going to need to do to the product that when you go to work with the factory, they're going to be, you can't just say, make it thinner here. Like you got to give them these designs. Axia will just do it in real time for you. It'll put out those designs, you approve them, you tweak them using just regular words. It makes the changes right then and there, and then what you're left with, it'll also pair you with factories that can make that. And you're able to communicate all of that product development right there in the software to them. It's great. It's really, really great. Again, saving a lot of time and a lot of money. Like it almost eliminates the prototype phase of the process. It's really, really good. Okay, now we're going to move into some AI. First time making the list for me, and number 9 is Nano Banana. We're using it a lot. A lot of, I'd say anything A+ in the Amazon space, or anything branded, your brand story, Amazon brand storefront, different pages, anything like that, we're heavily using Nano Banana. Now, it does not mean that we just go into Nano Banana and say, here's the brand. They do baby socks. Design something that pops. That's not what you do. You still need to, you're still gonna need someone that like, you can't be asleep at the wheel. It doesn't give you brain cells. Like you have to go in there and add some stuff. But if you do, I have to say it is putting out stuff that is right on par or better than what some of the stuff that we've been able to crank out and do. So like I see us moving to Nano Banana. What are you grinning about?
Have you tried Pomeli?
Who?
Pomeli.
Yeah.
Pomeli. It has a polish.
Yeah.
Basically now, you don't
Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet.
We did it here at the breakfast.
No. Come on, new.
Oh, they've added it.
They added something even better now.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pomeli's nice.
So Pomeli is just basically Nano Banana. What it is.
It's Nano Banana. It's Gemini. Just saying. It's not Claude. Huh?
I'm not impressed.
You're not impressed with Nano Banana? Everybody that I've heard say that, and I'm not taking a shot at you,
Take a shot.
it's. Oh, I can't say that.
I don't know how to use it. I
The-
think it sounds incorporated. Same thing to say, okay.
Garbage in, garbage out.
There you go, okay.
What you put into it
Yeah.
comes out. And that was a big thing for us when it came to me firsthand. I was like, I'm really good at storyboarding. I'm good at hooks. I'm good at like, I worked around video stuff a lot. And I was like, finally, I'm going to save a ton of money. I don't need a video person now, right? And I got this stuff and I went into some of these. And what came out was absolute garbage. And now what happened was, when I went to my video people and been like, this is what I'm trying to accomplish, and this is what I'm doing, they were easily able to go in there, get the same thing that I did, and I don't know, prompt it, word it, tweak it. These prompts went from me just talking like an ignorant whatever to this angle, this frame, this technique. You could do both. You could do whatever. Yeah, yeah.
I can tell ChatGPT the same thing and.
Yeah, you could, but it depends what you're trying to do. I feel like the.
No, but to what you're saying, garbage in and garbage out. I'll tell ChatGPT and it understands garbage.
I think they can all do basic stuff. Give me an example.
Like I wanted to redo the
I've not, anytime I've gotten stuck like that, I can't speak, but anytime I've gotten stuck like that, it seemed to be that I was the issue. And that I ran out of creativity, or I wasn't the person to kind of prompt this right, or I wasn't approaching the problem the right way.
Are you
How about?
paying for that?
Yeah, well, yes,
Maybe
but
that's the problem.
maybe what?
Maybe that's the problem.
Paying for it?
Yeah, with the unpaid version.
Oh, I don't know, I've not used the unpaid. Is there an unpaid Nano Banana?
With Gemini comes, no, image.
I don't know.
So it must be where,
I doubt it. I doubt it. If there is, it will exist somewhere.
if he's getting it. Because, you know, with Gemini, you can only get a certain amount of images.
Right, so that's how they would stop you. They would still give you the best service that they have available.
Yeah, also-
But they'll tell you, yeah, you can only get like 5 images a day.
Also, let me throw this in here, because I don't want to, I wasn't trying to be misleading. When I say I and we, when it comes to design, I'm talking about my team,
Yeah.
not me opening the computer. Like, I think if I opened it up right now and said, let me show you an example of me doing this, I might get your result. I don't know. It would be garbage in. It would be garbage in, garbage. Oh, you didn't like that. You didn't like me. She's shooting back at me. I shouldn't. No, but like, I think it would be the same way. My point though is if you put it in the hands, when I put it in, if I want video stuff, if I put that AI and Nano Banana in the hands of a video person, I get great stuff. If it's a design element or it's packaging, it seems to the point that I was trying to make earlier, like with OpenClaw. It doesn't seem to, it's cool, but if you don't have 11 years of operator experience, you're not going to pull off what he's doing. So, yeah, the AI doesn't, I think some people are looking at this and they're like, I'm getting into Amazon, finally. I'm going to save so much money. I don't have to hire a designer. I don't have to do this, but they also don't know how Amazon works. You're not going to create anything. You're not going to create anything like conversion crushing, you know?
Yeah, but I think for even, I would bet that we're now at a point where we don't even need photo shoots anymore. You don't.
It's-
With Nano Banana.
I would say, I can't disagree with you.
We're getting, if we're not there, we're very close. We're very close to not needing photo shoots.
Are you seeing that?
Huh?
Are you seeing that?
Am I going to what?
It's Celine problem.
I wish. But you know what? That's a good point. So you brought up Celine. Celine's the person I recommend for product photography. Still do. She's local. She's amazing. And I hope she's not listening to this. She's cheap. So you get great customer service, great quality, cheap. Right. No, but it's shocking. It's like every year that goes by, I'm like, it's not going to happen. You don't get that
Can
together.
you stop mentioning it?
Yeah, right. Everybody in the group's used her. Everybody in the group's used her, but now Ramon just made a point and he's like, I don't think photo shoots are necessary anymore. And then you semi-jokingly say, you know what, am I going to hire Celine? Even, and I just said, I think I can't disagree with him that he's true. I would even more want to hire Celine because that AI in the hands of Celine will do what someone that's not Celine can't do with that AI. So like, it may eliminate the need for photo shoots, but it does not eliminate the need for product photographers.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Can you say that again? Can you say it with the mic that you agreed with me so everybody can hear?
You agree with me? I'm specifically talking about hiring talent for photo shoots and all that. Man, that's expensive. That can get expensive, hiring talent. So I think we're very close to not needing that, but you still need a designer that has the eye for what works and what doesn't.
The thing that I showed, I found some of the products is getting the angle where I think Celine was able to catch.
The angles, everything. Everyone just writes off the angle like it's nothing, but
Right.
we've done a video shoot and putting the angle up or putting the angle down changed everything. It changed the music it went with, the mood, if you were an authority, if you were like, it changes everything. So it's not someone knowing when to use those angles and AI, that's everything. Oh, wait a minute, you know stuff about that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. You keep nodding and I'm like, I'm saying stuff that I'm not even the authority here, but like, you know that stuff. So like, yeah. So am I talking BS or is that, yeah, okay. Okay. This next one, I was hesitant to put it, but I use this thing all day. Loom. It's screen recording software for your business. If there's so many things that go wrong in your Amazon business and your everything,
What does if you have a team?
I think it's good to also create, well, even if you don't have a team, you need to use support for your software. So if you have no team, you have more software, right? You need to be able to send something went wrong to someone, or I want to do this and this is what's happening. The amount of back and forth you need to do on Loom, almost none, versus without Loom, a lot. It's probably like my biggest efficiency tool that I have is Loom. And I recently just discovered that there's a Loom overlay that goes into Google Meets. So if you use Google Meets for video, there's a Loom overlay there that you can have Loom running, grabbing everything to where you can later chop stuff up from your meeting. Really cool. Yeah, Loom, I don't know what AI powers Loom, but it has a really cool AI feature as well.
I'm making videos for my open blog. I'm gonna start making videos for my open blog.
I think you should. I think you should. I had a bonus one added in here, but before the bonus one, my last one, we talked about it the whole time that we've been talking. The outside of Loom, the only other thing I think I use more than Loom every day now is Gemini. So I didn't add it as a tool up until now. I'd say the top tool that I'm using for Amazon, for off Amazon, evaluating reports, creating gems to evaluate things in a different way. Like, I'm in Gemini nonstop.
Not just Gemini, Google Business in general. Google Business has so many different
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. But specifically Gemini, like when I'm in a Google Doc now, I don't fool around in the Google Doc. I go to Gemini. If I'm dealing with sheets and I've had Gemini help me create something to evaluate ad reports or business reports or whatever's going on differently, and I'm like, oh man, I want to know this, and it can't tell me directly the way I want to know, I'm popping right into Gemini within the report, within Google Workspace. So Gemini.
That little button is gold right now. You never had that assistant look at any page you have open in your browser?
Yeah. Yeah, you use Chrome, it can evaluate. Now it can evaluate across tabs. So if you have 6 tabs open because you're comparing competitors, you're comparing different competitors on a specific thing, and you have your advertising that you just evaluated with Gemini, you can have it evaluate across all tabs. Right? So by far, I use it more than anything. So I recommend it. And most of us use Chrome anyway. So again, another argument for not whether it's a better AI, but like which one you're actually going to be able to leverage most, Gemini. The bonus one that I have in here, which I know for some of you doesn't apply, if it doesn't, the way the Amazon world's going right now, the rising cost of ads, I really think you should, but a CRM. You should be building your own list off of Amazon. You should be doing email. Even if your CRM right now is just consisting of these influencers that you've been reaching out to based on what we talked about last week. I put 3 here. I use all 3. Well, I use 2 mostly, and we're adding in a 3rd, but Kit, HubSpot. HubSpot's kind of our workhorse, but again, I wouldn't be using HubSpot the way I use it if not for the agency side of things. If I wasn't, I'd probably just be using Klaviyo, and I'd be using Kit for like the content creation side of what we do in the business. Like anything content-wise, Kit's amazing. So yeah, that's what I had. Any questions? No?
Cool. You didn't have open blog though.
I don't have it in there. It's top 10 tools that I use right now, and I'm actually like very skeptical of it. Like the idea of OpenClaw and having an assistant in addition to my other assistants, you know what? So I'm not a hypocrite. OpenClaw is exciting for me in the hands of my assistant. Right? Me now needing to task a whole bunch of assignments to an assistant is kind of like, your assistant doesn't really like become super valuable and pull their weight until they're doing all this stuff for you and it frees you up. And then right now you're in the stage where you're not freed up. Right now you're in the stage where you're building out and you're training this assistant. So for me, it's like, I want my assistant to start using OpenClaw.
But it has a very, very short timeline, like everything. you know, you hire a new employee and that employee has no idea how to do what you want. And you train that employee, maybe you have fantastic SOPs, maybe you don't. If you don't, it's definitely slower, and they kind of get everything, and they might mess up something, and then little by little they learn, and little bit you continue to have to train them, but as time passes, you train them as well. So the half-life training is consistent with real employees or with AI employees, either way. The half-life for training an AI employee is quick.
The other,
Not automatic, but it's quick.
yeah, we were gonna have somebody come in and help us set up like an open claw, because I know you're swamped, otherwise I would just reach out to you and try to get you beer or something,
I
but,
haven't seen that.
but I'm also thinking, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait because I think it's something that everybody wants, which means, and OpenAI bought it, right? Somebody said OpenAI bought.
No, OpenAI hired the owner of OpenClaw, but they're not associated.
Okay, so like, it got OpenAI's attention, which means all these other ones are gonna need to do something.
Oh, no, the cat's out of the bag, for sure.
Yeah, the cat's out of the bag. That's a good way to say it. The cat's out of the bag. So I think Gemini is going to come up with some version of that. Is it going to be as good? I don't know. Is it going to have security built into it? I bet. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for that and take advantage of you pioneering it. Yeah, I think he hit the nail on the head. Like, what are all those tasks that, you ever heard of an Eisenhower matrix? It's like priority, time sensitive, like 4 quadrants: priority, time sensitive, priority, not time sensitive, no priority and not time sensitive. You just eliminate. And then you have something that's like, I forget the other one, but it's kind of like my grandmother called. It's technically not a priority in the business, but she needs to be responded to immediately. You know what I mean? So like, I think there's a lot of little things that are not grandma that we need to do in our business. And even me with a team that has a bunch of stuff delegated out, there's still so many things that just get through. And
when you don't have the right SOPs or the right employees, you just decide this is not priority. So I'll get to it when I get to it. And the reality is you start putting corners around the place. You either hire the people that do it for you, or you cut corners. That's the way that it is. With something like this is the people that will do it.
yeah, and
But I meant in terms of, do you know the list of things that we want?
what I would do, since I have a focus list that I always work off of, and I can go back as far as I want on that focus list of things that were done, I would get Gemini to help me put together, like to start bucketing all these different things I've done that I can totally not have on my plate, and I would have an open claw do all of them. Like I have one day a week, which is my thinking time and my creative time and stuff like that, and I have another half day. And the only reason that second day is not a full day is because I need to spend the other half of that day just doing busy work. Like a full half day of just doing busy work in the business. That would 100% go to an open claw. So yeah, easily, and it doesn't sleep. So like, what things am I not tackling because, so like, I'd say easily 80 hours a week of work I could give it.
Oh my God. So
Yeah, easily I could give it 80 hours of work.
but it won't need any, because it does everything on a tenth of the time that you need.
Yeah, also like when you're in like product evaluation mode, or you're in content creation mode, or you're in something like that, and you get interrupted because you need to go do a reactive thing, that residue carries over and you're needing to start back up. You're kind of starting from zero again. You lose your momentum, right? So I would like to get to a spot where I don't need to lose my momentum, because an open claw or something like that is if I'm not interrupted and I can keep doing product development for new products to come out, the business, everything's gonna be in a much better spot. The group, I'll be able to create better stuff, be able to do more stuff. There's a lot of time that's spent, just use this group as an example, that's just spent on reminding everyone that this is happening. A lot, like a 40 hours a week worth of things go in just for me to do it, I don't, That's not making the meetup group better.
But let's take it to another degree. Let's take it to the extent of saying, how does this really compound my business? How do you 2x the revenue with something like that? And the reality is, most of the stuff we're talking about, the basic work, that doesn't really compound your business, that's just regular work. That's about lowering your operating expenses. But imagine you have an employee, whether human or computer, that scrape the internet day in and day out to find out how your customer speaks, what their pain points are, what they want next. And you scoped out those special keywords that everybody's talking about, and you first to market on a product that everybody wants. Because you have somebody continuously querying your customer base. We can figure that out, and you first to market anything. So, hire the employee to do that, or get a computer, a $600 computer.
Which is why I believe.
A $600 Mac? Where do you get that?
That's what I got.
Yeah, they sell the
What was
Mac
that,
Mini.
used eBay first edition?
No, Amazon, $600 Mac Minis.
Yeah, you can get Mac Mini for something like that.
Really?
Brand new, I think it's like $8 or $9
My-
You Mac
Yeah.
Mini, $600.
My Mac Minis were like 4K.
No, the
Not
Mac,
today.
the smallest one, $600 now.
The small
Oh.
pop.
Or you can go to eBay and find a used.
eBay.
But that's why I was saying, if you even set up open product to scrape, like what are the hottest topics going on in Amazon, that could also add content to the community.
But as a product, if you unleash it in the product development side of your business, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, you multiply your revenue.
Yeah,
Because you're on the forefront of what people talk about, and forefront of what they ask about.
Just to summarize real quick, like, so some of you could leave here and like actually like act on one of these things. You're not gonna go change out your whole tool stack. Most of you shouldn't have all these tools right now at one time, right? But you should have a dashboard. You should be able to control like and see what's going on a day-to-day in your business. Both, I have Sellerize here, but both Sellerize and Sellerboard, both fantastic, both super affordable. If you have some, if you deal with returns and they exceed, $500, $600 a month, and you occasionally get some negative reviews having to do with your stuff, on-site support. If you're doing all of your ads manually yourself without using any type of software, you're probably leaving a lot on the table. You probably want to bring a software now, because your competitors probably are. It does depend on the complexity of your product, but I would still say even if it's not that complex, there's still some competition, and you should get some software involved. The one I like is Perpetua. If I didn't, the only other person that put a software out there, which I also like, is Scale Insights. You should have something to, if you have a lot of tasks and stuff going on, get a task management software. I don't care what you use. I think Monday.com is the most user-friendly, and it's gonna do everything you need to do. The more popular one in the space, if you want to get someone to build out some cool stuff and be aware, is ClickUp by far. Process Street is probably not going to be a good fit for most of you here. It is for me.
What about Slack?
I didn't put Slack in here, but yes, I mean, Slack is everything for us.
Do you use it? Do you use it a lot?
No.
I have one employee, and I use it.
I'm sorry?
I have only one employee, and I use it.
Yeah.
Well, one employee, and then this new one, I communicate with the bot through Slack. So,
Oh,
Yeah, we use Slack and WhatsApp, but we use Slack for everything internal. The only reason we don't use Slack, the only reason WhatsApp for us comes into play is on the agency side, not the seller side. On the agency side, most people find Slack to have a heavy learning curve to it.
okay.
So getting someone to adopt Slack is not going to happen, and then creating a WhatsApp group for more real-time communication is easier. But in a perfect world, everything would be on Slack for us. Product development, you should be tweaking around and doing product development. I think it would be a good investment of your time to get Axio. Like, it really, really would. Get Axio. If you're creating a lot of creative, Nano Banana. If you're not creating a lot of creative, just file it away for when you are. Loom for efficiency. If you find yourself having to have a bunch of support tickets out there, or you do have any team members or somebody you want to communicate with, a quick screen recording is going to help a ton more than communicating verbally. And Gemini. and specifically with Gemini or your AI, because I don't think the AI really matters here, whether you're doing your advertising in-house or whether you're working with an agency, you should be getting your ad reports, putting them in and evaluating them using AI. And just, even if it just creates some conversation so you can have that conversation internally, or have some pushback with the agency you're working on, like, why are we not doing this? Like, what's happening here? Like, AI can 100% do a good job at evaluating your advertising reports. So leave, go grab a whole bunch of your ad reports and evaluate them in AI, and then hit me up, send me a message, and just say, this is what I got, what do you think? What would you ask?
Getting rid of my employee, not getting rid of my employee, we assigning my PPC employee, and getting rid of skeletons. There's no need. They
For?
have to do that for you.
To do what? PPC. I'm not sold on that yet. I hope we get there, but
We'll talk about it.
you're using Scale Insights.
I'm using Scale Insights now, and it's fantastic. I absolutely recommend it.
But you're talking about getting rid of Scale Insights and just having AI do it.
Right, and having a
Open Claw.
having open claw, do it obviously with some sort of handholding.
Tú estás loco.
No, not
Tú estás loco.
Here's the top problem.
No, you've gone off the reservation with that one.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic, but SI still needs a new
Somebody take his mic.
PPC employee to be able to say, hey, these keywords, they are semantically relevant. These trends show that we should spend more here and there. That's not something that SI can do. That's not something that the person can do. AI can do that to the 100th level. They understand semantics. They understand trends. You don't need the PPC employee.
What I just
The moment
under...
that you get rid of the PPC employee that looks at keyword one at a time to see where to spend and where not to spend, you don't need a SI either. You just need an API connection directly to Ads API, and that's it.
What I heard there with the part that I'm still hooked on is I'm going to get rid of my employee, and all you need is one person to kind of guide the AI. So it sounds like you're going to get rid of the employee. You're going to do the employee work with AI.
No, I'm not getting rid of the employee. I'm taking all this work away from the employee of looking at keywords one at a time, giving that job to AI, and having the employee manage that.
Oh, I agree with that. That's what we're saying. I think you should give AI to the person who does the task to make them better at that task and more efficient. Like, don't bother doing this because AI can do that, but I need you to...
I think an employee who works 7 to 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, has kids, has responsibilities, has problems, has sick days, has vacation days. How is that employee going to compete with something that will look through 1,000 keywords in a minute and a half? They don't compete. And if the AI wouldn't be able to make nuanced decisions on things, which was what we're talking about 2025, then I understand. But it's no longer there. It can already work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my goal.
I'm going to see what our meetup is next week. Mira. Oh, you're going to love this. 7 reasons why you should hire an Amazon virtual assistant. I'm going to bring headgear next week.
Are we talking about implementing OpenClaw, for example?
I'm not sold on that. I'm sold on whether it's OpenClaw or Gemini Claw or Claude Claw, the cat's out the bag. Someone's going to be using something. Before OpenClaw came out, I didn't think it was possible to have a different computer do something. I'm a huge, like you see the topic for next week about virtual assistants and delegating so I could do what I'm good at. I am for domestic delegation, virtual delegation, and AI delegation. So like, that is right in my wheelhouse. That is important. Every bit of conversation out there starts with security concerns, and you couple that with I don't claim to be an AI expert, so let's say my degree of ignorance as it surrounds AI makes me very skeptical of it. And I deal with a lot of sensitive stuff, not that he doesn't too, but I deal with other people's sensitive stuff as well. So before...
Yeah, I don't have clients.
Right.
That's different.
I have clients, so like I'm not bringing, like, I'm the one that has to be on the phone with the person the next day and say, yeah, I don't know why we spent $100K, you know, like, no. So like, I'm very excited to know more about it. I think at some point, You know how awesome that would be if every single one, who has an assistant here, right? Most of us don't, right? Do you know how much more effective you would be with an assistant? Like, do you understand that? Like, one of the virtual assistant topics that I'm gonna talk about next week has to do with getting your first general VA, your GVA. You know how much more efficient you're gonna be and be able to do stuff and like how to go approach that? We're in a situation, well, he's already there, and whether it's OpenClaw or something else, we are all in a position to where when you start your business on day one, you can have an assistant. That's exciting. So yes, so in that sense, I think it's something worth paying attention to. But I'm not advising anyone to go out there and do OpenClaw right now. Yeah, I'm letting him run through the flames, and I'm gonna piggyback on
You're
that.
testing it right now.
No, he's stressed. No, he's living it.
Oh, really?
That's where I'm at.
He's living it.
You're not sleeping.
No, he's living it. We live close to each other. He's sucking up all the electricity off the grid.
Oh, wow.
Like,
So I have like a...
no, his house is like blue. At 2 in the morning.
Have you tried Bolt?
Volt?
Yeah,
No.
it's an app that does scripts.
Squares?
Yes, the same thing.
His answer to that now is, well, I'll just go
My
ask
answer to
him.
that is, do I have to pay for it? Then no, I don't want it.
Well, he does err on that extreme.
Yeah, I'm cheap.
Yes. That's how you make money? No, that's how you save money.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
but, it does the same thing as OpenClaw, except it's just an app that you can run.
Well, there you go.
So you don't need the map, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I don't recommend people go out there right now. I don't recommend people go out there and just install OpenClaw and have them do the business. As a matter of fact, I don't think he would be able to. I don't think even once he's validated and say all the security concerns are done with look, everything about that you want to know about your business that you're stuck on or that you were stuck on has always been available on YouTube. You know, somebody else's hero product is some other agency's free lead magnet. So like all that information has already been around and the AI is just grabbing that thing. It's the order at which it's delivered. So even if all of us right now could get an OpenClaw and it's solid, what would you do with it? Like, do you have 2 weeks and 11 years of operator experience, who's someone who's probably one of the most gifted integrator minds that I know to be able to go in there and do that? You ain't gonna be able to do it. You ain't gonna be able to do it. And you're probably not the most qualified person to do it. So now, if that exists and someone who has all this could say, I could just plug this in for you, I think that becomes that's what I'm trying to tell him to do. Like, I think that becomes I would pay for that. I'd pay for that. I was like, well, you can do what with my system and what do you need from me? And I give it to you and now you can plug that into mine. That's where I think, that's where I would go. Like, I'd pay him very little money to do that. All right, next week, we're gonna go into virtual assistants for your Amazon business. I'm not gonna go into like what is a virtual assistant, so it's gonna be a lot more actionable. We're gonna wrap up here for today. I appreciate all of you in person and online. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.